It looks to me like YouTube is not happening. Now it looks to me like YouTube may happen. We'll see. You can never tell. 1, 2, 3, boom. All right, YouTube is happening right now. Excellent condition. Good. All right, we're up. We're having it. Hello there, LinkedIn people, and hello there, YouTube people. Welcome. I'm glad you're all here. Thank you all for being here. Saved it. Yeah, we've had some really interesting issues on Crypto Wednesday with chat clients and also with streams. I don't know why. Welcome, everybody. I think we're all here now. I think everybody's here. I see my YouTube friends. Great. Excellent stream. 34 seconds in. I see my LinkedIn friends. Hello, guys. Please let me know where you are and what you're doing and all that. It looks like the Facebook people are not here, and I'm sad to say that that's just not happening. I don't know why the Facebook people aren't here. You usually are. You were last week. Same exact settings. I'm really, really fascinated by this. So anyway, guys, welcome. We're going to talk cryptocurrency today. We're going to have some fun. I think I'm going to give the Facebook guys one little chance to get here. Let me just, I've got one extra streaming tool here, and I've got one extra streaming channel not using any of the toys. Let me just quickly throw a stream key in. We'll see what happens. This is like the fun part. All right, number 3, go. Let's see. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We got plenty of horsepower. I mean, plenty of computer power today. This is my completely revamped, I should say, and I'm very happy to report, completely revamped Puget Systems. All singing, all dancing, blow your mind. Oh wow, oh wow. Super fun, super fun computing tool. This was the craziest story ever. So I had this computer custom built, 3 months ago. It took 8 weeks to come in. It's got everything on it, literally has everything on it. It's really super fun. And it was working great. So it's basically it's a Windows computer, so like it does Windows, and like all Windows computers, it has its ups and downs and its pluses and minuses. So the funny story with this, if you could call it funny, is that it started to slow down. Now this thing has got it's a 16-core AMD 5950X processor. If that doesn't mean anything to you, it's a very fast 16-core processor, absolutely perfect for streaming. And it's got a 3090 Ti card in it with 24 gigabytes. That's the latest NVIDIA 3000 series, wow, Kung Fu grip, everything. 128 gigabytes of RAM. This computer screams. Should be able to do anything, literally anything. And it's just slowing down, and then one day it just stops. Call the Puget guys. They're like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. We send it back. We spend 3 hours on the phone first. We send it back. They get it back and they go, it's working perfectly. I'm like, what? No, can't be. Can't be working perfectly. Died. They run it through all its paces. Astounding. They send it back to me. We figure out this has more to do with Microsoft OneDrive trying to back up at intervals when it shouldn't be and corrupting data, and there was some other backup software that we put in because of the ransomware stuff that was trying to take some snapshots, and it was just data was getting corrupted because some of the backup software and some of the Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive world, all of those things together need to be managed very carefully, and there's a lesson in there. I'm lining this thing up, which is why today we're having so many troubles, because I really haven't had a chance to configure this computer fully for streaming, and I wanted to stream on it today. So that's what it is. But anyway, LinkedIn folks, we're happy you're here, and YouTube folks, we're happy you're here. So be here, yay! And I see everybody. I see Steve Bradbury, and I see Justin, I see Frank, Krishna, welcome from LinkedIn, and Richard, welcome from England. Wow, Richard Palmer, no relation, but it'll be awesome. So I'm really super excited to talk to you guys today about crypto. Anyway. Computer stops working again. And now it won't boot. Like it won't, one beep followed by 3 long beeps. Look it up, says the video card's dead. No, can't be. It's a brand new video card, latest, greatest. Turns out there is an actual bug in the universe that is undocumented until now. NVIDIA 3090 Ti cards must see the monitor in HDMI and or DisplayPort. Must see it for them to think they're alive. Otherwise, the computer thinks the video card is dead, only on 570X motherboards. What? Little bug, undocumented. Anyway, everybody, we're back up. Sorry, Facebook folks. Don't know why I can't get you. Facebook is just, Facebook Live, not that much fun to begin with, and especially doesn't like today. Stream keys not happening, and events, whatever that event thing is. But welcome, LinkedIn folks. Welcome, YouTube folks. I'm very excited to have all of you here. Today is a big, fun day. I got to say, we've got an awful lot going on in the world of crypto. Probably the biggest thing that's happening in all of crypto today, from a what's new, what's next, what does it mean to your business, what do we care about? Probably the biggest crypto story today is going to be 1559, EIP 1559. Now, EIP 1559 is also known as the London hard fork, and this is scheduled now for August 5th. I've been doing a countdown in my in my daily newsletter, which you are all welcome to subscribe to. This has a lot of people's knickers in a knot, but it's also going to change the world a little bit. Most of you know proof of work versus proof of stake. Most of you do. And there are lots of different ways for blocks to get verified on the internet and in the blockchain world. But the two big ones are proof of work and proof of stake. We can go over all the other ones at a later date. I'm happy to take you through them. There are plenty of other ways to validate a blockchain. While I'm going to talk about 1559, folks, please identify yourself on chat, because it's a super cool place to identify yourself, and tell everybody what you do, like one little line about what you do, and of course where you are. Thank you, David Houle, for being here. I'm glad that you had some luck with OBS, or you're getting ready to learn it. Jim Thomas, welcome. Mary Beth, welcome. Hey, Charlie from Detroit, glad you're here. Love my YouTube crowd. Glad you guys are here. We're having some fun today. And Raul, wow, fantastic. Glad you are with us at LinkedIn. So 1559 is going to change the world. Why? It's going to move Ethereum closer to what Ethereum 2.0 is ultimately going to be. And Ethereum 2.0 is ultimately going to become a proof of stake based version of Ethereum. The thing that 1559 does that is making people sad. If you're a miner, and we do a lot of mining here at the Palmer Group just for fun and to help people understand what Ethereum mining might look like, the miners are going to now work for tips, and they're going to burn some ETH every time a block is written, and they're going to stop rewarding you for writing blocks. We're going to go to a validation methodology like all other proof of stake environments. The miners are not happy. So I want you to go to ethereum.org, and I want you to read about the London hard fork. I've got in the newsletter, I've got links directly to the countdown clock. I've got direct links to the Ethereum website. There is an immense amount of hype and BS and fear-mongering and FUD-mongering around 1559. There are a couple other improvement proposals that are going to all kind of come together early August. And then we're going to head headlong into this Ethereum 2.0. We're going to try, they've got Optimism, which is what they're calling their layer 2 solution. Some people say that's going to be delayed till middle of 22. Some people say end of 21. So everybody's got their own, timeline. I think that at the end, Vitalik, who is the head of the Ethereum organization at the moment, he can't get nailed down on a date. It's going to matter. Why is it going to matter? Well, a couple things. One, the utility and speed of Ethereum is based on its ability to scale and be secure and be what it is. It is the number 2 cryptocurrency behind Bitcoin in popularity, but it's also the most used chain and the most used protocol. There are many others. So I want to talk a little bit about that today as we barrel towards EIP 1559 and as we count that down. First and foremost, there's Polygon, which is a polychain, meaning that it is a blockchain of blockchains with different protocols that are brought together. There's Polkadot, which is not Ethereum and not written on Ethereum like Polygon is, and there are plenty others. And again, I hate to say do your own research, but if you care about the future of decentralized finance, and if you want to really be able to speak with authority, rather than parroting single phrases from Shelly Palmer or anybody else, literally, spend 15 minutes. Go to ethereum.org and read about 1559 and read about optimism and their roadmap and their plans. Just understand it. Then, for contrast and comparison, go to Polkadot and understand what it is. Go to Polygon and understand what it is. And then type in to Google polychains or meta chains so that you can read a little bit about what a blockchain of blockchains would be about. How bringing all of the protocols together in a convenient way for consumers, where that is, where that's going to make sense, and how that's going to make sense. Not the way I think about it, the way you're going to think about it to make it useful for your business. Because if I sit here and tell you, well, I think the miners are going to do blank, I don't know what the miners are going to do. Are they going to rebel? Are they going? No, I have no idea. I literally have no idea. There's a lot of politics involved in any organization. Ethereum is an organization. What's important for you to understand is that part of the promise, the giant part of the promise of decentralized finance is decentralization. And what does that really mean? It means there's no central authority. If you want to put that in direct context, a central authority for Facebook is Facebook. And there's actually one central authority. It's Mark Zuckerberg. He owns most of the shares, and there's no one that can defy him in a board meeting. He has ultimate control. So one human being controls Facebook. End of story. That is the quintessential definition, that's the definition, actually. That is the definition of a centralized authority. One dictatorial ruler. By comparison, in theory, and I'm saying this in theory, Ethereum is an organization that is decentralized. No one human being is in control. There are people that are elected to positions. They have a board. They have a bunch of consortiums. They have a bunch of committees that do all kinds of stuff. It is loosely organized, but theoretically, there's no one in charge. No one can say, today we're doing this. Kind of has to get voted on, etc., etc. In theory. Why am I saying in theory? Because whenever you get into what's going to become a proof of stake environment, whoever has the biggest stake, or whoever you get a few stakeholders together, they're in control. Something like 65% of Ethereum is mined by like four mining groups. You think the people in charge of those mining groups aren't powerful in the Ethereum world? They are. So there's a thing called the trilemma: scalability, decentralization, security, right? Those are the things you can have. Pick two. Pick any two. Again, where does this go? If the promise of Ethereum, if the promise of all blockchain that's not Bitcoin, if the promise of all the utility tokens, Matic at Polygon, Link at Chainlink, the stuff at Solana, ADA from Cardano, if the promise of these currencies and the promise of these blockchains is decentralization, do you care about the decentralization part? How central is a currency allowed to be? How central is a blockchain allowed to be before you would feel it's too centralized? It's a big question. I don't think a lot of people are going to care. A lot of people in the NFT world don't care. You'll buy an NFT, you'll leave it in the marketplace you bought it. Maybe they've got a really fun way to show off the NFT. Maybe they got a really nice way to display it. Maybe you can have a collection of NFTs and feel proud about that. And NBA's Top Shot gives you a kind of an environment to show your stuff off in. Are you good with that? That's pretty centralized. That's highly centralized. Arun, welcome. Where are you typing in from? Charles Olson, welcome. How to keep crypto as a hobby from Charles Olson on LinkedIn, and learning about crypto, keeping it as a hobby for now. This is neither a hobby nor is it an avocation. When you say crypto, you need to define the term. And Charles, your chat text here is exactly what we need to talk about today. Yeah, you can definitely make cryptocurrency your hobby. You can learn bot trading if you feel like learning how to day trade, because everything's done by bots. If you want to day trade effectively, you need to be able to time it right, and the only way to time anything right is using bot tools. You can learn about various decentralized finance opportunities. There are yield farms and liquidity pools, and you should treat that as a hobby, and you should use recreational money. I'm not giving you financial advice, but unless you really, really, really understand what that stuff is, be a little careful, because there are people out there who definitely do understand what it is. And in most cases, not all, in most cases, again, not financial advice, just practical advice. Go see a finance professional to get financial advice. You're playing musical chairs, and you do not want to be the last human being standing, holding the bag when everybody else has exited. So, yes, you can treat crypto, the world thereof, and some of the yield farms and liquidity pools and derivatives and all of the interesting ways to borrow and to lend money on the internet using cryptocurrency. You can treat that as a hobby, and I would definitely take some money you'd take to Vegas or Atlantic City, or Dubai, or wherever your favorite casino is, or Monte Carlo, and go play. That has nothing to do with the future. That has only to do with the present. That's just what's happening right now. What EIP 1559 is, what the hard fork is, the London hard fork is going to do, is it's going to set Ethereum up to take us into the next generation of Web 3.0 and decentralized finance, where it's going to have either wide acceptance or no acceptance by governments around the world. If it has wide acceptance, we'll be on a path to somewhere. Almost every single government, almost every single traded currency I'm aware of has some kind of CBDC plan in the works. That's central bank digital currency plan. Everybody's got one. They're all talking about it. Some have them. China's already got theirs out there. The United States doesn't, but there are a lot of stable coins, or coins that are pegged by currencies, that have been released. So this is all stuff that you can look at and try to understand a little bit better. And again, this is I'm not passing the buck and telling you to do your own research just to do it. I'm passing the buck and saying, without this knowledge, you're coming to this thing with half the stack you need to actually win. And I want you to just be a little bit careful about that. Real quickly, this is Wednesday, which means yesterday Tech Stream with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett dropped. We drop every Tuesday. And I hope that if you are a podcast user, if you like podcasts, that you'll check this one out. It's at Apple and Spotify and Amazon and Google Play. Tech Stream with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett is like a pop culture tech show combined. We talk a lot about what's happening in the movies, what's happening in the streaming world, what's happening in tech, and how it relates to how we behave every day and what we do. And it's we have a lot of fun doing it. And the numbers have been so embarrassingly fun. I mean, wow, we've got such a large number of downloads, and I love the inbounds that we're getting on email and in Twitter. So yeah, thank you for that. That's super exciting. I'm very, very excited about that. Also, not too fine a point on it, at Amazon, the blockchain book. Wow, crazy. It's in paperback now. The paperback is outselling the ebook like 4-1. I don't even understand how that's possible, but I'm very happy about it. So thank you all who have supported that book. And if you you can give it as a gift apparently on Amazon, and they've done a really nice job with the paperback. So and I keep updating the ebook. I will continue to update it. Also, you can check out shellypalmer.com when if you just go to Shelly, you can either send me an email, shelly@shellypalmer.com, or just go to shellypalmer.com. You can subscribe to our newsletter there. It's free. Or you can find at shellypalmer.com the blog that I do. Every day I do an email that you can subscribe to, and I do a little rant every day. But I write a blog post almost every day, sometimes about crypto, sometimes about production, sometimes about technology, media, and marketing. There's an awful lot of blockchain resources there. In fact, yeah, if you go to shellypalmer.com/blockchain, you'll find our blockchain page there. So what do you got there? You've got a database you can get to with a lot of the companies we're looking at closely, where we've put a description, we've tagged them, we've got their main tagline, but also then like a paragraph about what we think about each one, or what generally we think they do, or what we've learned about them. We don't rate them because that's not our place to do, but we definitely have a nice database, and of course you can contribute to that, so please do. Then there's a resource page with kind of handy links if you're doing some coding, if you're learning Solidity, if you are learning really any of the tools. You can just go ahead and leverage the stuff on that blockchain resource page. And please, of course, if you have something to contribute, I would welcome those contributions. That would be fantastic. What are crypto prices today, by the way? Wow. Okay. So Bitcoin is 39,800. That's up 10,000 bucks from a week ago today. And Ethereum USD is 2,300. That's up about $500. I don't think that's important, but I do like to look at it every day. It's kind of fun. I mean, when I think about the when I think about crypto prices, I'm really thinking about the silliness that we're all into right now with respect to chasing this. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. The way people are chasing this. At some point, these things are going to level off. I don't know that Bitcoin levels off. It may. I don't know that it does. But at some point, Bitcoin does level off. And, people want to talk about what Bitcoin is, what it isn't. From my perspective, Bitcoin's the grandfather of all this. Are they going to get it right? Are they going to get it together? I don't know if they're getting it together or not. But people are footballing Bitcoin on a regular basis, and I just don't see it as a proxy for the business. We're going to know this thing gets mature when every single currency doesn't constantly track Bitcoin. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. DraftKings is getting into the NFT business. That's kind of a big story, and they're getting into it huge. All the celebrities that we all know about have sort of gotten deep into NFTs. I really like where this is going. The shakeout will occur, right? We're getting all of the charlatans, all of the bad actors are going to ultimately go away, and we're going to be left with smart contracts and interesting NFTs. And I don't know if many of you will remember this movie. This was WALL-E. WALL-E was a movie that was really about a robot, but these people are on hovercrafts that are really the equivalent of mobility scooters that you'd see someone who was of ill health or who had the inability to walk use. And of course, everyone on this space barge that ultimately gets to the planet that WALL-E is on, everybody is on one of these mobility scooters. They've all, let's just say, had one too many French bread pizzas, and they are living in an augmented reality world. Everything is brought to them, this screen in front of them, this virtual screen in front of them. Now, I look at this thinking that it's very prescient, because as I look at this picture, I think to myself, well, is that an implant? And we're seeing the representation of the screen, or does that screen show up like virtually in front of them and they're looking at it? I don't know which, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this is a metaphoric future that I would hate for us to be in. Why am I showing you this picture? Well, there are two things that happened this week that made me smile a lot. One is that Facebook has said that they are destination metaverse. Mark Zuckerberg has announced that he's putting together an executive team, and the goal of this executive team is to craft their metaverse story. They are going to go deep. They think they're going to be an AI, AR company where they are ultimately, they are thinking they are in an augmented reality, mixed reality, AI-powered world where they are the metaverse, and you're going there. I can just imagine getting lost in Facebook and turning into those people at Wally, which is why I put the picture up. What's the role of an NFT in a metaverse? What's the role of a smart contract in a metaverse? And let's talk about that not from the snow crash perspective, but from a modern concept of what a metaverse might look like. So one of the attributes of a metaverse would be that whatever you change, you carved something in the wall, for example, or if you painted a wall green, that wall would not just be green for you, but it'd be green for everybody. So in that respect, it's the equivalent of changing a website dynamically. You change your website, everybody comes to your website will see it. But here, people could interact with it. They could make a change to it. You painted your wall green, but they wrote on your wall something like, "Oh, you're awesome," or something else. So if they graffiti that wall, that's persistent across the metaverse, and everyone's experience would be the same. So that's an attribute of the metaverse. Another attribute is that the metaverse itself, any one metaverse might not be big enough or popular enough, but if you combine them, we could go travel seamlessly, traverse world to world, metaverse to metaverse. There's that. There'll be private metaverses, there'll be public metaverses, there will be all of that, right? You can kind of look back to Second Life, which predates the capability of the technology to give us anything, and understand how popular they become. Look at The Sims, Roblox. I mean, there's so many different proto-metaverse tools out there, and toys and games. What would a useful, utilitarian, meaningful, day-to-day metaverse look like? That's a question you got to ask yourself. And then, how does the world of decentralized finance, or simply distributed ledger technology, Web 3.0, where there are no central authorities, how does that work? What if I built the metaverse in a fully decentralized way? There were no rules, and no one was in charge. What's the role of cryptocurrency and smart contracts in that world? That had me thinking all week. Mark Zuckerberg, generally, you may like him, you may hate him, and I don't want to get into this Facebook good or bad thing, because I just don't. But he has called trends in a different way than most of us. If you remember how much he overspent on Instagram, overspent on WhatsApp. Did he? He aggregated more users than pretty much anyone else in the world by overspending at the right target at the right time and predicting, we're all going to be chatting, we're all going to be text chatting, therefore he must own Messenger, WhatsApp, he must own Instagram, he must. That was he got it. So Mark Zuckerberg stops what he's doing and says, we're going to be a metaverse company ultimately. While it wouldn't have been my first call, I would have said we would go in a more traditional, seamless transition from where we are today to a decentralized web without central authorities that is actually indistinguishable above the hood from where we are today. And what I mean by that is you'd go to shellypalmer.com. You wouldn't know whether it was Web 2.0 or Web 3.0, and you wouldn't care. And it wouldn't be any of your business any more than you care what database I'm using to store my content in, any more than you care what email tool I use to send out my daily emails. Like do you care what database I'm storing those emails in? When I get data back, does that go into Mongo? Does it go into SQL? Does it go into MySQL? Does it go into Postgres? Does it go into a GraphQL? You don't care. That's for the engineers to worry about. So my take on where we are the next, call it 5 to 10 years, would be we would transition from centralized tools to decentralized tools, and the consumers really wouldn't know or care. The capability set would reveal itself through this distributed ledger technology. That would have been that is my take, to be fair and frank. It's not would be, that is my take. That transition happens first, and it goes kicking and screaming because there's an awful lot of tech that has to fall into place. And the layer 2 solutions all have to be vetted, and we have to figure out where governments play, and then what the payment gateways are going to look like, and will there be crypto or utility tokens that go back and forth. There's a lot of questions I have about transitioning where we are to where we should be or would want to be in the World Wide Web or Web 3.0 before I'm going to put on a pair of VR goggles and immerse myself in a place that's doesn't exist. Zuckerberg says no. He says that's where we're going, so much so he's going to put an executive team together at Facebook and explore it. I've seen the success of metaverses in the past. I've seen them go and come as fads. I have not seen success in virtual reality at all for anything but training. That's it. To train somebody, VR is great. I don't see gamers doing esports in a VR world. Some do, but most don't. I don't see people running home for VR experiences. I see a lot of 270-degree views, not 360-degree views. We have learned over the last 3,500 years what a proscenium stage is, and how the Greeks taught us this, how to sit in the audience and be the audience. What are the conventions of being the audience in a theater where you've got about a 150 to a 200-degree view if you're sitting up close. Maybe 270 if you're in the front row. And that's not a good place to sit. You like to sit third row, fifth row, eighth row, center. You get a sense of the stage itself. So I don't see it happening yet. I've yet to see a way to capture the physical world we're in a cost-effective, directorially effective, three-dimensional environment, 360-degree environment. And I've got an entire locker filled with 360-degree cameras here, and I've got, 100 examples of trying to tell stories that way. So VR has a value, but it is unclear that is what every human being is willing to do. The other thing is, like 3D, there is a physiological problem, and that is about 30% of human beings, and this is documented 1,000 ways to Sunday, about 30% of people put on a pair of VR goggles, got about 15 minutes before they become nauseated, and there's nothing you can do about it. If Dramamine doesn't help, they just can't do it. So you're taking 30% of the people of the world out of that conversation immediately, like you take them out of the 3D convo. But even 70% of the people, that's enough to have a business. Oh, Andrea, yeah, I'll go one-on-one with you any day on VR. I mean, I've got enough data, real data from real clients and real projects, and I've also got enough experimental stuff that gets me excited about it. I'm not saying it's not a technology. It is. I'm telling you, no one's made any money with it, and I can't get people to adopt it. And, you shouldn't have to work that hard to make people go, ooh. You didn't have to work that hard with chat. You didn't have to work that hard with social networks. You didn't have to work that hard. By the way, anybody here ever program a photo upload tool, literally sit down to code it? You want to know why Facebook is important? Facebook's important because they make putting photos on the internet easy. Make VR easy for me. Andrea, I'm ready to talk about it. I'm ready. Show me one tool where I can create a VR environment that's not going to cost me an arm and a leg and be impossible to program. It's not going to require me to use Unreality all day long and not going to require me to have 50 Unity programmers that, are going to cost me $200 an hour. Show it to me. Right now, I just don't see it as a general consumer product. I don't see it replacing anything anytime soon. However, Mark Zuckerberg does, and I always take him seriously. So rather than debate the virtual merits and our experience in the past, we'll look to the future and say, what is the role of decentralized tools in a virtual reality world and in a metaverse world? We're getting to metaverses. There's no question we'll get to metaverses. We will. We definitely will. Andrea, you can reach me easily at Shelly at shellypalmer.com. You may pronounce it Andrea. I apologize if I'm saying Andrea and it's Andrea. I just don't know how you pronounce your name. But however it's pronounced, I welcome at any time the debate. And by the way, anybody wants to call me out on any of this, do it. There is no version of the world where I have every right answer. There isn't. But I can defend myself pretty well, and I make a fairly decent Socratic debating partner. So we'll leave with the best theory when we're done, that's for sure, and that's the best part of this. And I actually would heartily encourage everyone to approach this the same way. I'm not afraid of the conversation. In fact, I welcome it. And we can do it. We can do it next week on Wednesday, right here on Crypto Wednesday. We can, I have a way to bring up to 4 guests on simultaneously, and we can split the screen, and we can have a good, solid, hardcore debate about the value of VR. But what I'm really interested in isn't the value of VR, because consumers will vote with their wallets. They always do. What I'm really interested in is your thoughts about where metaverses, VR, decentralized finance, distributed ledgers, where all that converges. Because to me, all these things are happening at the same time. And, if you aren't using AI tools in your coding, if you're not using it in your writing your prose every day, if you're not using it to do your artwork, if you're not, looking at BERT and GPT-3 in a very, very academic way for wow, this is a new way to work, you're missing out on something. When you combine these tools, we're looking at a world that a lot of people are going to love being in. I mean, it's just a different way to do. It's just a different way to do everything. So anyway, I reach out. You want to be on the show with me? You want to talk stuff? Give me some topics. We'll cover the topics. Send in your questions. If you want to go deep, I'll take your questions. We can. And I'll prepare answers for you. Today was a more of a technology day than for me, just getting my tech back up together. I haven't, used all my bells and whistles. I think my kids are cheering. I think that's working. Not sure. I think I can harken back. I can, and I'm pretty sure I can rewind. Yeah, that's what I think I could do right now. I'm just working on, and maybe that worked and maybe it didn't. I got 50-50 chance. I'm just putting this computer back together today, and that's the fun part. But look. We do Crypto Wednesday every Wednesday, 12:15 Eastern, and I'll cover any topic you want, and I'm excited to do it. We'll get the Facebook people back here next week, I think, and we will get to some of your questions. Let me just see. Let's do the YouTube guys. Atori, welcome. Thomas Herman, welcome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The latest NFT launch by Ashton Kutcher. By the way. Yeah, that's probably worth its own half an hour, and I only have a couple minutes left. Abby Auerbach, welcome from Connecticut, and Steve Bradbury, glad you're here. Does the impact of one person like Mark Zuckerberg concern you, or are you to embrace his and other visions of... Oh, Steve Bradbury, that's a question I can answer in 3 minutes or less, and I'm going to do it. So Steve Bradbury asks, I'm just reading here, does the impact of one person like Mark Zuckerberg concern you, or do you embrace his and other visions to move the market forward? There are people I respect in the world for what they've accomplished. There are people I respect in the world for what they understand and know, whether or not they've had the capability to execute and accomplish. There are people I pay attention to because even though they know nothing, they know how to scream really loud and motivate people. Ultimately, Steve, the people I pay attention to are the people who do one thing and one thing only: organize best. If you can organize a giant army, whether that's a corporate army, a social justice warrior army, community of passion, community of interest, community of of practice, if you can organize a massive group of humans who are aligned with your thinking, you have my undivided attention. End of story. You can hate Elon Musk all you want. You can hate Jeff Bezos all you want. You can tell me how terrible Mark Zuckerberg is. All good. I take it. I get it. I respect your opinion. I follow what these individuals say because of their ability to impact how others spend their day. And ultimately, when you can impact how others spend their day, you fall into the number one axiom of the Shelly Palmer world. Number one, technology is meaningless unless it changes the way we behave. I follow people who change the way we behave. Full stop. That's who I pay attention to. Am I concerned about it? That doesn't matter whether I'm concerned about it or not, because at the end of the day, I can't change it by worrying about it. What I can do is learn, listen, and respond rather than react, right? I don't need to react to what happens in the world. I need to respond to it. The difference being that you're sitting at a table and a cockroach is found on the table and everyone starts to scream and jump up on the table. That's a reaction. The waiter picks up a napkin, walks over to the table, grabs the cockroach and throws it out the front door. That's a response. I prefer responding. I'm a human being, so often I react. We're all human. But it's a great question, Steve. And look, for all of you who are here today, I really appreciate the opportunity to spend a few minutes with you. Thank you for putting up with my tech. This is my tech toy, 45 minutes a week, where I try and, beat the tech odds. By the way, it would take me 1 second to do this 100% the same way every week. We try something new every week, which is why there's a 50-50 chance it's going to work and not work. If you're wondering why I'm crazy enough to do that, you can get this information I'm giving you right now from about 20 different places inside the ShellyPalmer.com world. There's the pgx.tech, which we're all invited to. There's my daily newsletter. There's the website itself. There are blog posts. But at the end of the day, folks, every day we try to do something a little bit harder with live ammo and see if it works. So we're pressing the envelope, and that's what this is for, making mistakes. I'm here to make some mistakes, and we made some good ones today. Hopefully we'll be able to correct them for next week. But that said, I want to thank you very, very much for spending this time with me. I would call your attention to today's blog at shellypalmer.com and today's email. We're very proud to announce our partnership with Verizon to power Blue Jeans Premium Production Services, powered by the Palmer Group. It's one of our big achievements in our career, and so I'm very excited to partner with Verizon. They're such a wonderful company, and Blue Jeans is a great service. Blue Jeans Events is what we're tethered to. We are trying to help people who are putting on events with 50,000, 100,000 attendees and help them get that, just produced properly. So good images, good graphics, and the ability to just have some fun, which is why I'm constantly pressing the envelope here. With that, I will thank you so much for your time today, and thanks for hanging out with me. Please send me an email. Again, I'll just leave this right up here. It's Shelly at shellypalmer.com. Feel free. Love to hear from you. Love to know about the projects you're working on. Fascinated to understand how you're thinking about the things I'm thinking about. That's how I learn. That's how we all learn. And with that, I'll say thank you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.